Hey guys, so I wanted to get on here and talk to you about postpartum anxiety. I have been getting some messages with individuals just asking me how my postpartum journey has been. Folks that know from the start of this page that I have been talking about my general anxiety, how I combat it, and now folks are asking me about how I'm dealing with the postpartum anxiety of things. Baby is almost 3 months old, so for me, I feel like I'm very much in the newborn trenches at times, and so my postpartum anxiety really hasn't changed very much from the anxiety prior to having Caden. I'm always in flight or fight mode. First of all, any attack, I feel like mentally, physically, emotionally, anything of that nature, I feel like is derived from the enemy. I am Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe that he was raised from the dead after 3 days. I am saved. And I do believe in Satan. I do believe that there is a spiritual enemy that is constantly looking for holes in whether it's your marriage, your finances, your health, your mental health, your life, your kids acting crazy. Satan will use any crack he can to infiltrate that part and can literally make all hell break loose. So in terms of my anxiety, I do still deal with it. It does become crippling at times. It does stop me from doing certain activities. But I have found ways to combat that. And the number one way is obviously being in my word. I'm constantly in my word. I'm constantly reciting verses from the Bible. The Bible is meant to give you hope. It's meant to comfort. Is meant to do so many things, but for me, in terms of my postpartum anxiety, there are moments of anxiety where I have to literally recite these verses. The Bible says, keep the word close to your mind, to your heart, so when these moments happen, you have something to fall back on. This right here is what postpartum anxiety looks like. It looks like me kind of like forcing myself to do things that I just don't necessarily feel like doing, but I have a genuine interest, like deep down, to like do it. Postpartum anxiety for me looks like, hey, it's supposed to be 55 degrees today. Why don't you take the baby to the park and you guys walk around a little bit? And then my mind tells me, oh no, don't go out. Hey, it's slick on the roads, or it rained a little bit. What if you get in a car accident? Or I'm never able to really live in the moment with my anxiety in general, and with the postpartum anxiety. It's at another level because I have a whole little human that I just had that is 100% dependent on me. My last child was born prior to Caden 14 years ago. So I've been well out of the stage where they need me for every waking thing. And to go back to that, definitely put some anxiety on your girl. I remember when Caden came home from the hospital, like the first week, I wouldn't even let him out. The first week, maybe 2 or 3 weeks actually, I wouldn't even let Caden out my sight. You know what I'm saying? I'm married. My husband is in here. I didn't want Caden with him for an extended period of time. I couldn't sleep. I was having like separation anxiety from the baby, and all of this stuff is definitely normal due to hormones and stuff like that. But it can be kicked up a notch when you just add in, other factors. So how I combat this right here, I'm recording content. I'm trying to get back to watching my sports. I'm getting out of the house and deliberately leaving my son with his father to create a space for me where I know that he's safe and comfortable. That's never been the issue. It's just I have to wire my mind to follow that same thought pattern that's already there. It's weird. I can't explain it. Going out and doing stuff, me and Caden, we gonna walk around at the mall. Again, there are some days where I'm just like, no, I don't want to do it. And also, if it gets too much, for those that are dealing with some of the same issues, if it gets too much, some of this stuff is really chemically imbalanced, guys. You guys, it's nothing wrong with taking medication for it, doing whatever it is you need to do to make sure you are good and that you can pour into others and be good. Because honestly, I feel like it varies. Some days I'm good, some days I'm not. But at one point, there were just many days consistently where I just wasn't. There wasn't any good days at all. So I do feel like that's progress. So grateful to my husband, who's always there, my kids who, you know, help out where they can. I'm grateful to God first and foremost, you know what I mean, keeping those verses in mind, reciting those verses. And I would recommend the same thing. Meditation is a big thing. Again, staying in your word, you know, pushing past the anxiety really, and facing whatever fear that you are trying, that Satan is trying to scare you with, because anxiety is just a big ball of fear. You're not sure what's going to happen next. You feel out of control. That's another thing I want to do, is address control issues, because a lot of that comes from control and honestly not putting enough faith in God. So it's a daily process. It's something that I'm working on every day. But thanks to everybody who reached out and was looking to know. Caden is fine. It's not Caden. Caden sleeps well. Caden is not a fussy baby. Caden only fusses when he's hungry or when he's wet or when he's sleepy. He's not an overly fussy baby. He's probably, I think he's better than the other two, to be honest. It's a me thing. So I am pushing through every day. This is what pushing through looks like right here, coming on here talking to y'all. I'm anxious about what people may think about me even talking about this condition, but it needs to be talked about. In my postpartum anxiety, I did find out that I also am dealing with some postpartum depression as well. So I'm going to talk to you guys about that, what that looks like for me and how I was able to spot that out, and how I'm coping with that as well. So yeah, I'll be back.